$25 if we explain Jundum out.
Oh man, yeah.
I don't know this.
We did this last night, but junding someone out, as I explained last time, was it's more a state of mind than literally the color combination.
So you don't have to play.
And Jund, the characteristic qualities of the Jund shard is aggro, dome, and value.
So that's why everybody loves Jund.
Yeah. So, and the quintessence of Junding somebody out is you just get them.
Yeah.
It's
just putting the heat on somebody and just not letting up.
Hello and welcome to today's video where I am testing out Jund in Standard. That's right, you heard it, Jund in Standard. Jund is kind of a secret fantasy of mine, and I've always really loved the type of deck in Modern, so I want to try something like it in Standard with the card pool that we have. There's actually quite a few good cards, and I wanted to go ahead and give them a try today. As you can see, I started off with 2 Knights of the Even Legion, pretty good 1-drop, and I have an Agonizing Remorse, Rankle, and Bonecrusher Giant / Stomp, which I think definitely are some good cards for this deck. Now, as you can see, our opponent has decided to Thought Erasure us because they are terrible and don't deserve to be here on this earth, but it's okay, we'll let them live for now. So we're going to go ahead and hit them back with Agonizing Remorse, and they have quite a few good cards. Cure Best Sea Guy, Kaya's Wrath, Erebos Intervention, and Eat to Extinction. I'm going to take Kaya's Wrath because I don't feel like getting my cards board wiped, and I know they have the mana for it, so if they want to get my creatures, then they're going to have to pick them off one by one instead of all in one swoop. Now, go ahead and swing in for 2, and I'm just going to let them do what they do. They have nothing. Of course they don't, so we're going to go ahead and get in another attack. And I decided to not pump here because I want to get the 3rd Knight out and just kind of like turn up the heat a little bit. 6 on the ground. They don't have a counter for it, but it looks like they may have something here right at the end. What could it possibly be? And it will look like they're going to use Erebos' Intervention to go ahead and take care of that Knight. Hitting it for 2, and they're going to gain 2 life. So, thankfully, they just go ahead and shock that 2 life away. So now we just go ahead and Agonize and Remorse them again off the top. One thing you'll notice is that I am currently lacking lands, but it's okay because the deck is moving forward. Unfortunately, I cannot play the 2 red cards in hand because I have no red land. And here, I decided to take Chemist's Insight because they have the ability to play this instead of Cure Best of Sea Guy, and the last thing we want them is to draw any more answers before we do. So they play Temple Enlightenment, Scry to the bottom, which is something I like. And now, since we only have 1 more Knight left, we're just going to go ahead and pump them up and just get in as much damage as we can. Put a counter on them at the end of the step since they lost 4 life. And they're just going to continue to play lands. We draw some removal, but again, we don't have any red, so we're just going to continue with smacking in for as much as we can with this Knight of the Even Legion. And they play a Teferi, and Teferi is going to bounce this Knight away, which is unfortunate. They draw a card, and they're going to go ahead and play what I believe is a Oath of Kaya. So they're going to hit us for 3 and then gain some life. And we draw a Fabled Passage, which is great because now we get to go ahead and get these red cards out by playing a basic mountain. We're going to play Knight of the Even Legion, and then we're also just going to stomp Teferi. Honestly, I should have went ahead and bedeviled him and used the stomps for our opponent's face instead, but we live and learn. And now our opponent's going to play another Oath of Kaya, which is unfortunate. So they're at 7 life. So right now we'll just go ahead and play a Bone Crusher Giant. 4 damage is quite a bit. However, if they have another Oath of Kaya, then we're just in some pretty big trouble. And what do you know? Question Beast, pretty good card. All-Star, they don't have any kind of removal. Question Beast gets in, so does Bone Crusher Giant to take care of 8 damage, putting them in the negative, and we're going to go ahead and move to game 2. Now for this game, I decide to definitely sideboard some cards in. Playing against Esper Control, it looks like. So we're going to go ahead and put in Noxious Grass. We're going to put in some Fries. And we're going to go ahead and take out Ingress Rampage because they don't have any creatures really. And we're also going to take out Ritual of Soot because, again, no creatures. Now at this moment, I would like to take the opportunity to point out that Ingress Rampage probably would have still been a good card because it got them to sacrifice their Planeswalkers for pretty cheap. But I am still okay with the choices that I made. So we are going to be on the draw. Opening hand. 5 lands is kind of a lot. So we're going to go ahead and mulligan that. We got 4 lands this time, but we got some pretty good action. Murderous Rider, Bedeviled, and Bone Crusher Giant. So we'll go ahead and keep this. And don't know which one to put back. Bedeviled is a pretty good card. Murderous Rider is just another creature. It's both removal and creature, so I just decided to go with it. And as my luck has it, we draw the biggest thing in our deck, which is Liliana Dreadhorde General. And not really much to help get her out on the field, but we do get Vraska as well, which is pretty nice. Vraska comes down on turn 4 instead of turn 6, and she can do some pretty nice things. Right here, we're going to go ahead and shock and pass, just in case they play anything. Perhaps maybe like a small creature or maybe a planeswalker. We can go ahead and stomp it out. But they don't, so we pretty much just shock for nothing. Going to play Stomping Grounds tapped, however, and we're going to go ahead and pass. At this point, I realized that this is probably the enchantment version of Esper, which is Dance of the Manse. And our opponent is resolving a Teferi. Are they going to take them up? Yes, they will. However, we're just going to go ahead and crack open our Fabled Passageway. Get a basic land. It's going to be a basic swamp. And we're going to play Vraska. The reason I play Vraska over Bedevil is because Vraska can just go ahead and take Teferi out without any issue. They're going to play another Teferi, and this time we do have more just straight up raw Planeswalker removal. But we also have a Questing Beast, and I don't know about you, but Questing Beast seems like a lot more fun to me. Questing Beast gets in, hits our opponent for 6, destroys our Teferi, and we just take up Vraska. Going to decline. And right now, we're pretty much in a good spot. Our opponent's going to scry off of Temple of Enlightenment. And unfortunately, they're going to Banishing Light our Vraska, so we just have to deal with that. However, we still have a Questing Beast, and that is still pretty good. So Questing Beast is going to get in for another 4 damage, and then we're going to play Knight of the Even Legion. Knight is going to get a counter since our opponent took 4 damage. And as all good things, they must come to an end because our opponent's going to wipe our board with Kaya's Wrath. Unfortunate, as I cannot save any of my creatures. Goodbye. So, because I'm feeling a little bit angry about that, we're just going to go ahead and stomp them out. Now, Dreadhorde Butcher is a pretty good card. Gets in for that damage. Takes up to 2, so pretty much if they decide to just hard removal it, we're going to go ahead and ping them for 2. However, they play an Oath of Kaya, which is going to hit our Dreadhorde Butcher. They'll still gain at least 1 point of damage. However, right here, I was thinking about using Bone Crusher Giant to stomp out a Dreadhorde Butcher to negate the life gain and still hit them for 2. However, I just decided to let it be, and I will use it to take 2 to the face instead. And what do you know? We have another Dreadhorde Butcher, and it's going to do the exact same thing the last one was trying to do. This time with no Oath of Kaya coming out on the field. But they are right, and they do Legion's Ended, which exiles instead of destroys. So that is a pretty sad moment. Pour one out for the homie. Now we're going to Agonize Remorse and pick stuff out of their hand. And in this case, I see they have Lily, Oath, and Chemist's Insight. They have enough mana for Lily, so we take her out because she can become problematic very quickly. While I would have enough to get rid of her immediately, I don't want to take the chance and have her leaving around a zombie token or just really having to use any removal on her. So for a while, we don't really have much going on. Bone Crusher Giants will come in. And I see the Oath of Kaya in my opponent's hand, so I expect that they're going to use it on this. But instead, they're just going to draw more cards because it looks like they may have just drawn lands off the first Chemist's Insight. So now, opponent has 5 cards in hand, one of which we know is an Oath of Kaya, and they're going to Kaya's Wrath, the Bone Crusher Giant, realizing that if they play any kind of targeted removal, then it would have gotten destroyed. Opponent is going to bounce their second Oath of Kaya and then draw a card. So we're just going to Noxious Grasp their Teferi. Gain life. We are still stuck on 4 lands, by the way. We have a Swamp, Blood Crypt, Stomping Grounds, and Temple of Malady, or Malady for those who really feel like pronouncing it that way. Opponent plays 1 Oath of Kaya. They get to hit us for 3. And then we're going to Agonize Remorse, the other Oath of Kaya. So you see you have a Wrath, Tyrant Scorn, and Banishing Light. So I feel good about making this decision. And it's going to come at the cost of 1 life, but you got to do what you got to do. So now we're going to play another Bone Crusher Giant. And I expected this to also get hit with Banishing Light, but our opponent instead decided to go ahead and use Tyrant Scorn on this. However, it came at a cost. So they did take 2 for destroying our Bone Crusher Giant, so we at least got some value off of it before it went away. And as you can see, we are still on 4 lands. So we're going to go ahead and play a Murderous Rider. Hopefully it'll just go get a chance to just swing in without any issue, get to gain some life. We don't have to worry about our opponent picking up our stuff. But they're also going to Tyrant Scorn that. So bottom of the library it goes. And our opponent really doesn't have anything to play. It's mostly just reactionary spells. So that is fine for us. We're going to play a Questing Beast. It's going to get in for 4. We're going to feel pretty happy about that. And our opponent is going to play a Temple of Silence. And instead of using the Banishing Light, they're just going to go ahead and Kaya's Wrath that as well. And now I notice that I have 2 Bone Crusher Giants in the graveyard, 1 in hand. They're at 4. And we have drawn our 5th land. it is a good day for all. And I'm going to play that Stomping Ground and then play that Bone Crusher Giant after I've used the Stomp half. So here I'm pretty much just looking to get another Stomp. Our opponent Kaiser Wraps again, realizing that if they play any targeted removal, they will just die. So now we're going to play a Murderous Rider again, and then we're going to play Knight of the Ebon Legion. So if they have any target removed, they are going to have to use all of it this turn, or we're just going to get in with one of these creatures and win the game. They start by Legions ending our Knight, and then they're going to go ahead and cash in that Banishing Light, targeting our Murderous Rider. Unfortunate. However, our next draw is pretty much where the game is going to come to an end. They scratch to the bottom, we draw Vraska. And Vraska is going to cause a chain of events that ends the game. First, she's going to use her -3 to destroy the Banishing Light that has the other Vraska. And we're going to get a brand new Vraska. And we're going to destroy the other Banishing Light, targeting Murderous Rider. Murderous Rider's back on the field. Opponent draws a card, realizes they have nothing else really to play, and they're going to go ahead and scoop it up for the win. Into another match, we start off with a very terrible hand, so we're going to go ahead and mulligan, and another terrible hand, so we're going to mulligan that as well. Finally, we have some lands, so we're going to go ahead and keep this hand. We're going to put back Ritual of Soot because we don't know what we're playing quite yet, and unfortunately, we have to send back Questing Beast as well. Starting off with a 5-card hand is kind of terrible, but we can manage it. And it looks like we're going against possibly Simic something, maybe Simic Ramp, Simic Flash, who knows. And of course, we draw the biggest CMC card in our deck, which is not great. And determined by the fact that our opponent is not playing any spells yet, it looks like they're on this Simic Flash plan. So we're going to go ahead and put down the Murderous Rider. They don't counter it, and instead they flash in a Brian Bourne Cutthroat. So yeah, this match is very annoying. It can be hard to deal with. You just have to pretty much play patiently and play around all the cards that they bring out. So get a 4th land, it's a Temple, we scry the top, it's a Wrinkle. We're going to go ahead and keep that up there. We get in for 2, gain 2, and wait for our opponent to flash something in, excuse me. And that they do. And we're going to stomp them out. Sorry, just the thought of having to play this deck made me a little bit sick, so kind of feel disgusted even looking at this footage anyway. So they go ahead and flash in 2 Spectral Sailors, and we're just going to go ahead and keep attacking with our 2/3 lifelinker and gain 2 life. So we bring out Wrinkle. Wrinkle resolves, and as we go to attack, they're going to bounce Wrinkle back with Petty Theft. So we just regain the 2 life that we lost in the last turn, and we make our opponent lose 2 life. And now that we're getting more and more lands, we're going to go ahead and attack again. Once again, gain the 2 life that we lost. And we're going to play a Bone Crusher Giant this time. Then we'll play this Overgrown Tomb tapped. And we'll see what our opponent decides that they want to play on our turn this time because they're too much of a coward to play it on their own. Oh no, they're going to draw a card. Yep, this just continues over and over. So pretty much we're going to keep attacking. This time we have a Bone Crusher Giant, so we're putting in more damage, and then we're just going to continue to gain the 2 life that we lost from their attack of 2 Spectral Sailors. So right here they're going to draw a card, and I think about go ahead and hitting stop, and wondering if it is the appropriate time to do so, and I decided to just go past it. So they're going to swing again. Same two. This time with only one Spectral Sailor. And on the end of their turn, I'm going to go ahead and stomp out the other one. In which case, they throw Mystic the stomp. So therefore, we lose that giant as well. And now we just bedevil the Frilled Mystic, in which they are going to go ahead and get out of the land and possibly play a counter. Yep, there's Sinister Sabotage. Unfortunately, we have nothing else that we can really play, but we're just going to send the team in anyway. They're going to take out our Bone Crusher Giant with Frilled Mystic, and then we'll just deal another 2 damage and gain 2 more life. Yes, I understand this back and forth is kind of annoying, but it continues to go this way. You basically just have to play carefully and play around whatever cards your opponent may have. They know I have a Wrinkle. I know they have a Brazen Borrower. What they don't know is that I also have a Lily, and I don't know if they have any counter magic. So I'm going to go ahead and crack this Fabled Passage. Pretty much should get out any additional land so that any future draws we have is not a land, it's just straight value. So we got a basic mountain, and I believe we also get a basic forest. Nope, just another swamp. So right now we have 7 lands on the field. They're going to flash in an Omen of the Sea, which allows them to scry 2 and draw a card. Card is pretty good. And then they're going to amp up their damage by playing a Brazen Borrower. And then they're going to bounce our Murderous Rider, in which we will just use it to kill their Brazen Borrower that they played, and that's pretty much the end of my turn. So now we have a Questing Beast. Will they survive? I do not know. But we are going to get the Murderous Rider out. Questing Beast is on the stack. It looks like they may have an answer for it. They're going to flash in an Omen of the Sea. Because of course they will. They find one card that they're looking for. And of course, it is a Brazen Borrower. So we're going to Petty Theft the Questing Beast back to hand. So swing 2 in the air. For some reason, they don't swing with the Night Pack out ambusher, but I'm not entirely sure why. So now we're just going to play Wrinkle. And Wrinkle's going to go in, which they will flash in Brazen Borrower to be on the blocking end. Why they flash in both, I don't know, but it's whatever. Maybe because I thought I had a kill spell, but I unfortunately did not. It would have been nice, but didn't quite have it. And now they're down to 1 card in hand. But they also have quite a huge border presence. So they're going to go swinging in for 9. And I don't block any of it. And here I am going to play a Questing Beast. And I'm going to counter it. And then I'm going to be sad because I don't have the mana to play the second Questing Beast. And so I don't attack and I stay back on defense, only just to realize that at this point, I am very dead. And so I'm going to go ahead and concede and go to the sideboard to prepare for the next game. Now with sideboards, I'm going to bring in Blight Beetle, which there's some heavy green presence in here. I'm going to bring in Noxious Grass because it seems like a card to bring in. And I'm also going to bring in Massacre Girl. I'm going to take out my Planeswalkers, and I'm also going to take out my Agonizing Remorse. Just a couple of them. And we're going to go ahead and move to game 2. Which hopefully we don't mulligan down to 5, but who knows? This is Magic after all. Oh, looks like we're mulligan down to 6. Up, that's a better hand. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this 6. We're going to put back. What card is suitable to put back here? So we'll put back Murderous Rider. Nah. Rankle? Nah. Blight Beetle? Yeah. As much as I had thought about bringing him in, he was the first pick from my sideboard. I don't think I'll need it now. As much as I'll need it later when actual green creatures come out. But I should have stuck with the Murderous Rider because I was just going to draw another one. And another one. So we have 3 Murderous Riders and a Rankle. So we can pretty much play our entire hand. Which is pretty good. But it's not where we want to be ideally with the lands that we have. Now granted, next turn we are going to put a Rankle out and it's just going to be great. Okay, now we're getting more lands. It's pretty good. I do not have an answer for Rankle. Or they're going to flash in a creature. Looks like we're probably going to get Petty Theft here. Yep. Man, it's almost like I knew. And then they're going to opt with an Incept. We do get back the 2 damage that we took from the shock, and then we dealt the 2 damage to them. So we're at 20, they're at 18, and life is pretty good. So we're going to play Wrinkle again. Then they're going to play Frilled Mystic, and then we're going to be sad because that means Wrinkle is now gone. But we're going to go for the attack steal. We're going to gain 2, and then we're going to take out the creature. And then our creature is going to go to the bottom of the library, play with Shockland tapped, and pass turn. Now we're going to play a Dreadhorde Butcher, in which they will match with a. So this is a really awkward situation. They flash in a Brine board to make it bigger, and then we just kill the Brine board. Other than that, they just counter our Dreadhorde Butcher. We are sad. They're also probably sad. Everyone is sad. No one's having a fun day. Everyone's balloons are popped. The clown is not happy. Ooh, but what's this? This is another Wrinkle. Now, do they have another counter is the question. Because if they don't, then we get to have fun. Ooh, no counter? No bounce effect? Ah, Wrinkle gets through. So, now we have a choice. Do we discard? Do we draw? Sacrificing is a choice, but not one that we want to make since we're the only one with a creature up. So, we're going to have each player discard, and then we're going to draw and lose a life. And then they flash in Night Pack Ambusher. Kind of sad about it, but not too much. After all, we can just deal with it later. So if they're going to Brazen Borrower, we're going to Bedevil it, and then they're going to just come out of the woodworks and Aether Gust our Bedevil. So, in response, We're going to crack our Fabled Passage. We're going to get a Swamp. And then we're going to Murderous Rider. Their Brazen Borrower. Now, the benefit of them using Aether Gust is that means that we will just get it back a turn later and we get that spell to use again. Also, we made them discard a card. We're down to 6 life, and they have quite a bit of power on the field. So we're going to bedevil their Night Pack Ambusher. We're going to put out a Murderous Rider. And then we're going to feel happy about ourselves. Because they don't have a counter, or else they would have fired it off now. And right now they're just taking up time. Up, they're going to Brazen Borrow back our Rankle. That is A-okay. However, this is going to die. And then they're going to go ahead and scratch you. There's nothing that they want, which is great news for us. Alright, so they get their swing in. And we're going to play a Rankle. Or do we? First we're going to attack. And then we're going to gain some life. We're going to play another Murderous Rider, and then I think we play the Blight Beetle. So it's also nothing they wanted. There's nothing they can do about it. We play Blight Beetle. And we are just outside of death range. So if they swing with Brazen Borrower, we will not die the next turn. And we can just swing in with our Murderous Riders to gain some life. And ooh, piece of candy. Questing Beast is always a delight. And if you say otherwise, that just means that you've been at the other end of it for too long, and you should probably try playing it once in a while. It is a great card. So we just go for the all-out swing. We're going to gain some life. We're going to do quite a bit of damage. Questing Beast can't be blocked. Blight Beetle can't be blocked. So just the 2 Murderous Riders can be blocked. And we're going to gain life off of those. They have nothing really that they can flash in. So we're just going to go ahead and see how they block. They're going to double block one of the Murderous Riders. Which is fine, because we're just going to gain some life. We're going to put the dead Murderous Rider on the bottom of the library. We still have a blocker in Questing Beast, and that is going to be the game. Now we're going to move on to game number 3, in which we're going to do a quick sideboard change, which I believe I bring in something different. Yeah, so take out the Blight Beetles. They were nice, but I bring in Fry, just to deal with all of the blue. Like, dealing with the green is also pretty important, but there's more blue threats that I have to worry about with Brazen Borrower, Frilled Mystic sometimes. And we have an opening hand that we don't have to mulligan, which is great. So we're going to start off shocking ourselves with a Blood Crypt and Knight of the Even Legion. Very casual start. And then we're going to play another shock land because we have very painful mana base. And we're going to go ahead and get our swing in, just in case they flash something in. And then we're going to Agonizing Remorse. And which they do, flash in a Brineborn Cutthroat. Now we have quite a selection to take out here. We can take out Brazen Borrower, we can take out Frilled Mystic, we can take out Sinister Sabotage. And also have a breeding pool and an island on the field, so they do have double blue. So with these options, I decided to take these Sinister Sabotage because I can deal with the creatures. I cannot deal with the counterspell. Like, yeah, you're going to counter. It's better that you just counter my. It's better to just flash in these creatures because I'll just get rid of them. But if you counter my spell, then I have difficulties doing. I'm going to have some difficulties with that. As an intern, I expected them to opt, but they did not. Unfortunately, I did not get a chance to kill off this Brideborn. So here they counter the Field Mystic, which is unfortunate. However, we're going to Noxious Grass their Field Mystic. Then we're going to get some damage in with a Dreadhorde Butcher and Knight of the Even Legion. And we're going to go attacking again. Now this time they can just go ahead and bounce our Dreadhorde, which is what they do. However, we're definitely going to stomp out that. Unfortunately, they Aether Gusted away, so our stomp is pretty much gone. Brideborn is now out of stomp range, and life is unfortunate. So I'm just going to leave this here. Now, I should have blocked here. This is a mistake I did make. I should have blocked. I did not, and it ended up costing me. Mostly because I did this. And my opponent probably saw that and saw that I was going to go to 2, and then they pretty much just sealed the deal by, oh, okay, well, we're going to go ahead and opt. We're just going to take our time. And they had no counterspell. I go down to 2, and I go to my attacks. And then they flash in Brazen Borrower at the end because I am an idiot. And therefore, the game is over. Now this game was pretty interesting because we had a pretty good hand we got to keep. Painful mana base as usual. So also the one game where I remember to keep the audio in. So there's that. So I'm going to start off, Blood Crypt, pay 2 life, Knight of the Even Legion, pretty standard stuff, that's where we want to be. And our opponent is going to play a Temple of Enlightenment, so they're probably on Esper, they could be on Blue-White Control, don't entirely know. Draw the Devil, play a tap, get in 1 hit of damage. And they're going to Agonize Remorsa, so we do know that they're on Esper. They do have the colors for it. They see we have Jund stuff. We have 2 Murderous Riders and a Bedeviled. And I believe they take one of our Murderous Riders. Yep, they do. And so we're going to play another hand. It's going to come in untapped. We're going to get the attacks in, and they're going to quit. Alright, well, I guess I'll just go to sideboard then. So, we know we're playing against Esper, so we're going to bring some Duress, we're going to bring in some Noxious Grasps, and I think,
I'm the fucking best at Magic, dude, I can't lose.
Moving on to the next match, we are on the draw here, and this is actually not a terrible hand, it's not where we want to be. We do want to have our knight first, but what can you do? So we're playing against, oh no, it's red. Red. Yep, there's not really much we can talk about this. Red card's just going to play red cards, trying to burn us out. Unfortunately, we're helping them with our very painful mana base. However, that Embercleave is the fuck out of here. We are not having any of that. So, they're going to play a Robber of the Rich, which kind of sucks because they basically mulligan down to 5 just to get that. Also, our answer to their board, they just got rid of. Castle Locktwain is a good answer for playing a spell without paying any extra life. So, Butcher, I'm just going to get in. It's going to get a counter. And then the next turn, we can start picking things off with possibly Murderous Rider. Depends on what they do here. They're only going to swing in with the Robber. They're going to take our Stomp as well. And here's a play that they make that confuses me, because they could have stopped before the blocks, but they decide not to. So they go to stop after I've already blocked the Scorcher Spitter. So what we're going to do is going to get a swing in. I figured if they block, they'll have to have a Rimrock Knight. I'm going to tap that down. I'm going to pass turn. And as they go to attack, we're going to take out the Robber of the Rich, which sends us down to 6. Which is unfortunate because we are very low at life. Now we're down to 3. They're going to light up the stage, and they're going to play another land. And while it may not look like it, they definitely have the things to kill us in hand. Like, it's definitely there. I know it's there because they wait until their next turn to pretty much just unload everything, when they could have done it right now. These colors currently have no instant way of gaining life, which is unfortunate. Oh, wait, no, I take that back. They do have Erebos' Intervention. But I did not have that in the deck at this time, and I will actually show you an updated version of this deck at the end of the video. So, they play a 4th land. They play a Shock, which they could have done earlier. And then they play a Stomp, which they also could have done earlier. Why did you wait until your turn? This was pointless. So, moving on to sideboard. We're going to bring in, I believe, the only card we could bring in. Actually, there's no cards in here for red. So we just bring in Masker Girl, take out Lily. It's cheaper. We bring in Duress, take out Agnazer Remorse. It's less painful. And we just go on our business that way. Now that we're on the play, we do have less of a hateful mana base. But it's okay. We get the Scry off the Temple. We're going to shock off the Blood Crypt. We're going to swing in with our Dreadhorde Butcher. They don't have a shock for it. Everything's looking up Millhouse. See if they play 2 creatures again or if they're just going to opt to sticking with 1. Well, they're going to stomp out our Butcher and they're going to get shocked for it. I'm going to play that tapped, and then we're going to pass the turn. I'm going to play Robber of the Rich, and before they get a chance to swing with it to try to steal our cards, we're just going to go ahead and get rid of it. And here I'm playing with Vraska, tick her up. And here's where I make another mistake, because I definitely could have used that in the future, but I decided to get rid of it like an idiot. Why? I am unsure. Alright, so they play a steam can, and they play another steam can. So I'm going to go ahead and tick up, decline, play a knight, and play a giant. So I'm facing down 2 steam cans, which could potentially be just a butt ton of mana. They're looking at my Vraska, they're trying to aim for her, so I'm going to go ahead and block the 1/1 with knight and block the 2/2 because I know they have something up there here. Yep, there's an Embercleave. Of course it is. Of course it is. It's always Embercleave. And so now they're going to play another spell, I believe. Yep, they're going to play a champion. Then they're going to use a 3 mana from the first runway to play another spell. Then Infuriate and another runaway steam can. They're not going to use that and end up killing it to get another steam can on the field, or they're going to play the giant. So they're going to play the Bone Crusher Giant. And here I'm pretty much just going to... what do we decide to do here? I was going to tick up, but then I decided, you know what, let's just cash it out. We're going to take out Bone Crusher Giant because its ability doesn't trigger off of abilities, only spells. And the one thing that I do have in hand is Bedevil. So if I want to, not only could I take out the Runaway Steam Can, I could also just take out the Embercleave. And then there's a flyer. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and Murderous Rider targeting the Runaway Steam Can because I would rather lose 2 life than 10. 2 life seems like a better investment. And at this point, I do believe we are waiting for our opponent to make a decision, and now let's play the waiting game. Nope, it looks like the time has run out, so their attacks are going through as normal, and it looks like it is back on my turn. So we are going to play a Bedevil, and we're going to get rid of that. And I am okay with taking 3 damage the next turn because we have ways of recuperating that, and it looks like our opponent is stuck again. Or do they just not know what they want to do? Oh, nope, they're alive. So they're hovering over their Fervent Champion. Oh, they have a lamp to play, so they have nothing really to play. This works to our advantage, because that means next turn we have spells that can do quite a bit to their entire side, and we're going to use that to our advantage. Granted, they have a bunch of lands, so it looks like they're going to pump up this Phoenix of Ash once. I don't understand why not twice, or why they didn't activate Embrith, but who knows. Ooh. So we're going to go ahead and Murderous Rider. And then we're going to wait until their turn, and then we're going to stomp out their Phoenix and then gain some life from the Fervent Champion. Hopefully that they don't have a Rimrock Knight, or else that would just be pretty sad. Oh, they're not attacking with the Fervent Champion. That's fine anyway, because that means we're just going to go ahead and stomp out their Phoenix of Ash. So let this go through. I want to see if they're going to pump another time, and they don't, so stomping time. Just go ahead and get that out of there. Also, they don't have the mana right now to escape it, so it's even better. And this is fun. We're going to Ingrass Rampage, make them sacrifice their champion. And there it goes. Then we're going to play Dreadhorde Butcher. We're going to get our beats in. And we have a long way to come from 17, so we'll send them down to 14 as we go up to 9. And they will more than likely escape this Phoenix, and it'll come back with a +1/+1 counter, which is not an advantage to us. I can see they're hovering over their graveyard. Now there's cards disappearing from their graveyard. So if we send it back, they can also escape it once again, which, again, is not an advantage to us. I'll play lineup of stage. They're going to get a Fervent Champion and a Embercleave. And this is where things are just nice. They're just nice. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and attack. We're going to wait for them to put down whichever creature, and then we're more than likely just going to kill both. Now, but they don't put down the Fervent Champion, which is odd. But they are going to Embercleave. They're going to attach the Embercleave, and then we're just going to bedevil the Phoenix. And now they have 1 mana to pretty much play their champion. They're not going to play the one that they exile with Light Up the Stage, which is also an oddity. So we're just going to go ahead and stomp this one out real quick. Boop. Alright, we bring them down to 5. We'll play a land, and then I think we're just going to go ahead and double up on our Bone Crusher Giants. We have another Phoenix of Ash. It can attack with Embercleave, and it can do 8. But if it swings, then they're just dead on the crackback. Unless by some miracle that is another pump spell or a burn spell. So there goes another Phoenix. And they're going to equip maybe. No equipment. As they realize that you cannot equip instant speed, and they're just dead now. Which is unfortunate for them, but very fortunate for us. I don't know what they were quite thinking, but who knows? Maybe they weren't. They are playing mono red after all. Does not require much thought. Alright, going into game 3. I don't think we bring in anything else. That match worked out pretty fine. All we really need is a pretty good draw. So we are going to be on the draw now, and let's see what our hand has for us. Do we mulligan it? No, this actually is pretty fine. So they have no turn 1 play, and we'll just bring in a tap Blood Crypt. They have no turn 2 play. Oh wow, this is going to be extra interesting then. So they have Phoenix, Bone Crusher Giant, Light Up the Stage, and Double Infuriate. Well, we're going to take the Phoenix because not only does Agonizing Remorse get rid of it out of their hand, it just puts it into exile, so they can't escape it anymore. And they're going to just go ahead and raw Bone Crusher Giant, and then Spectacle Light Up the Stage, which they draw 2 more Light Up the Stages. Just very fine for me. And at this point, I'm just going to play another Blood Crypt tapped. Put it down. There you go. And then pass turn. I understand Bone Crusher Giant cannot be stomped out, so just stomp their face. They don't have the mana to do anything else, so we're going to play a Rankle. We're going to get a swing in. And then we're going to make them sack a creature. Why? Because I have an extra Rankle. I don't think they have an extra Bone Crusher Giant. And I am okay with making this trade. So we're going to play another Rankle. And Rankle is just going to come straight for those ankles. And now I'm going to have us discard a card. I'm going to get rid of this Agonizing Remorse. I currently don't need it. And I'll much just rather them have less cards than me having to pick cards out of their hand as well. So Lava Coil are Giant, our Rankle. And Giant comes in, and we're going to bring in Giant and also Murderous Rider with his Pike of Life Gaining Justice. We'll get out our second Swamp. I should almost have all of our basics out, so that's pretty neat. And meanwhile, we have not seen them play any 1-drop, 2-drop creature. They've actually only played one creature, which is Bone Crusher Giant. And that's been it. So looks like our opponent just has not had any creatures, or what's going on over there? Well, that looks like this signifies the match is over because they just aren't playing anything and they may have just walked away. So we're just going to go ahead and play our creatures, get our beats in, and this game is pretty much over. So our opponent pretty much wasted all their time and they're going into their final countdown before their avatar just explodes and all is going to be great in the world. Why? Because we just junded them out. Like they had us in the first part, we're not going to lie. But we came back, we gave them the value, gave them things straight to face, and that's just how you jund them out. And poof. That is going to be it for this session. Now here is a deck that I have put together. As you can see down below, I have in my 1-drop slots, I have 4 Knight of the Even Legions, just as a 1-drop creature. In my 2-drop slots, Dread Horde Butcher, for another creature, still good value when it dies or when it lives. If it lives, it gets bigger. If it doesn't, it just does damage. Agonize Remorse, pick things out of their hands, get rid of them forever. And even though I don't have Thoughtseize, it's okay as a substitute for standard. Now, moving on to Engrass Rampage, just make them sack things, whatever they, if it has hexproof, then they just get rid of it. Or if we just want to get rid of something and we have no way of really getting rid of it, we can make them sacrifice it. Murderous Rider / Swift End, just good value all around. Bone Crusher Giant / Stomp, also. Bedevil gets rid of artifacts, creatures, or planeswalkers, just great. Rankle flies, has haste, value. Questing Beast is just a really good creature. The only reason I had 3 is because I ran out of room. Ritual of Soot, I mean, it's just a small sweeper. Good for getting rid of weenies and all of the sort. Vraska, 4-drop planeswalker, gets to sacrifice stuff, destroy things. Liliana and our general land base for just about each shock, 4 Fabled Passageway. Sideboard, Duress, Blight Beetle, Noxious Grass, Fry, just to deal with certain colors. Return to Nature, Freakish Alliteration, to deal with enchantments. Sacrifice enchantments is pretty good for black. Massacre Girl, good for also sweeping small wars. Casualty of War, because in these colors, this card just does quite a bit. Now, after making this video, I actually did update the list, and there were some things that I did like, and I went ahead and added to it. Erebos' Intervention, as you can see in the 1-drop slot, is just a very good versatile card. Treacherous Blessing. Now, this card is pretty great because you get to draw 3 cards, and whenever you cast a spell, you lose 1 life. However, you're going to target it with Vraska, so instead of losing a life, you're going to draw 4 cards, gain a life, and never have to worry about that creature again. Also, I've added another Questing Beast, and the sideboard is still the same. So, thank you for watching this video. Hopefully, you'll get to try this deck out, and I will see you in the future.
Bless.